All right, Van Heist, welcome back to another week of art. So last week we talked a lot about contour lines, or lines that closely follow another line. We even tried out a really fun blind contour portrait drawing activity. Today we're getting a little bit more into shapes, and we are going to be talking about something called concentric shapes. And concentric shapes are pretty much when you create a shape inside of another shape. We're going to kind of play with this idea and how it's similar to contour line making and how it's a little bit different. For today, we're going to be looking at the artwork of an Australian artist named Tammy Kanat. Now, Tammy Kanat creates these concentric shape artworks, not with paint and not with markers, but she uses woven wool. She's a textile artist, and that means that she uses things like fabric. She loops and twists and weaves her sizable wall hangings all together using a steel frame. And when you look at these images, you can tell that she's starting with a large shape and slowly working her way in. Or maybe she's starting with a small shape and working her way out. Either way, all the way along, she's kind of keeping that same shape. It's the same idea as those contour lines, only this time in the form of a shape. So, with that in mind, let's get to work on that back side of the paper that we worked on last time. I remember I asked you to fold it in half, or you could choose a new sheet of paper. This is going to be really interesting. This is another one of those very meditative sort of projects. So if you have a way of playing some music, I usually like to turn something on to listen to while I make this type of art. Let's get started. All right, everyone. So for this week, just like last, all you're really going to need is some paper and some markers. You can see my contour line project from last week. Now, if you recall, I asked for you to fold this paper in half. So I'm actually going to open this up and I'm going to create my concentric shape drawing exercise on this side, the side that I did not color on yet. Or if you want to grab a completely new sheet of paper, that absolutely works. So we're going to start with just a very simple concentric shape on this side. I want you to grab a color and somewhere on this paper, not too big, not too small, I want you to make like a circle shape. Don't worry if it's not a super perfect circle. It's all about keeping the shape true to itself as you get in smaller and smaller. So I'm going to make one about the size of, maybe like a size of a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, now, just like before for our contour lines, I want you to recreate this shape over and over again on the inside until you get to the very middle, trying your hardest to keep your line as close to the original shape as you can. Let's see how this turns out. Whew, talk about op art. My eyes started to hurt looking at this. Great job. So now we're going to do a different type of shape. Grab a different color. This one, I'm going to kind of stay in the wheelhouse of shapes that we recognize. I'm going to do like some kind of triangle-ish shape down here. Same thing. I'm going to do a series of contour lines to create concentric shapes. Okay, so now we have two shapes that we're familiar with. I'm going to see what happens when I choose a new color and make something more abstract. All right, so just like last week, when you get to these really tight curves where it's tough to get the line in and out of there, sometimes you just gotta stop with that side of the shape and continue on with the rest of it. I'm gonna put just a slight little line in there just to show that there's still a little bit more going on. All right, well now I've gotten to a point where I've filled up this entire half area with different shapes. And it'd be pretty tough to start a new shape without overlapping another one. So that's actually exactly what we're going to do. This second portion of this project is a little bit more challenging. I'm gonna grab a new color and I'm gonna create a shape in the background behind these other shapes. So, let's see. But in order to do that, I need to be jumping over these shapes as I get to them. So let's start with maybe just something square-like. I'm gonna start maybe right here, go over here, jump over that part, go up here, jump over this part, all the way there. Now we can imagine that that blue area is behind these shapes. So let's just keep on building this concentric shape while jumping over our other shapes. All right, this is starting to look pretty wacky. I'm just gonna keep going and see if I can fill up this whole page. So you'll probably notice that you have some extra areas around here. I wanna see if you can fill those up just using simple lines. Like, I'm gonna fill this shape up just like this. There we have it, an entirely new form of op art. These are concentric shapes. Now we have our familiar shapes, kind of like circles, stars, triangles. And then I included a couple irregular shapes, or shapes that we don't normally recognize. I hope you had fun creating this. I think this is a really meditative type of artwork, and it can come up with some really neat designs. I want to challenge you to fill up your entire paper. And if you're someone that built it off of the project last week, do you like them better when you see them both side by side? Or do you like them when they are just alone? Which one did you enjoy making better? How are they similar and how are they different? All right, everybody, that is Concentric Shapes. Thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see what you create, and I hope you have a great week. We'll be talking to you soon.